Let's go.
Hold on,
Let's go.
hold on,
Let's
hold
go.
on,
Let's go.
hold
Let's
on,
go.
hold
Let's
on.
go. Let's go.
I gotta
Let's go.
record it.
Come on.
Hold on, hold on.
Oh
Shit.
no! Oh no! Oh
Shit,
no!
let me record the
Record!
audio.
Record! 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 Ah, everybody record! We must record. We must
Record the audio.
record. Where's the line? Where's the line? Where's the line? Dun, dun, dun. We need it. Like, what should our intro be? Here's the line. Where's the line? Lines, line, or lines, lines, lines.
I thought
Paying
for a
all
second
the
I thought you were doing
fines.
the Indiana Jones theme song, but you were doing "Where's the Line," and I thought that was cool as heck. Thought that
Where's
was
the
really
line? It's not a line. It's a giant boulder coming at us. Ah!
Where's the line? Where's the line?
Where's the line? Where's the line?
Da-na-na, da-na-na.
Da-da-da.
Yeah.
Welcome to Where's the Line?
Yep.
January 12th, 2022.
Yeah.
Today's episode, The Dream. Why are we here?
Why are we here?
What brings you to this humble abode, young Ross? Why are you here? Why are we here? Why are you here? Why are they here? Why are you there? The line.
Yes.
What are your thoughts, eh?
I am here because I like people. Sometimes to my detriment, sometimes to my benefit. So, that's why I'm here. I like
I can see
people, I
that.
like talking to people, I like conversation, I like intellectual argument, debates. I like to talk. I talk too much.
You talk too much.
I talk too much, and I like to listen to people talk. So, that's why I'm here. Why are you here?
Oh, God, why am I here? There's got to be more to why you're here. Isn't there a music thing going on with you?
There's a music thing too, definitely. Yeah.
That I mean, as much as we're driven to be here, because, oh, God, we've got things to say.
Right.
My motivation is more the studio to
Right.
some extent. The idea of how do we lift from the community?
Mhm.
How do we bring people together in a place where they can communicate about what they're actually feeling,
Mm.
and create real change
Right.
in the end? That as much as I talk about creativity, in my head, the answers are in the creatives. That's where we find answers. It's not in the falling into the same groove over and over again. That in life, I know that if I just do the same thing over and over again, I'm not growing.
Right.
I've wandered off the path. Why am I here? I'm here because I feel called to be here.
Mm.
I'm here because I don't feel like I have a choice. I'm here because I don't think the current system is sustainable.
Mhm.
I'm here because I'm afraid to leave my basement. Okay, let's go back.
Okay.
Let's go back a bit.
Let's go back.
Okay. Damn, that mic is in my face. So, 25 years ago, I was walking in a forest. Okay, I know. This is all going to sound really spiritual and really goo goo gaga, and you need to understand I'm crazy. I'm so crazy that I've gone to get it tested myself multiple times.
Gotta check my crazy.
Gotta check my crazy. I believe the last time I went in, what I wrote was, time to see the witch doctor, need my head shrunk. That's my shrink joke for the day.
That's funny.
25 years ago, I was going through some really rough things. I was fighting for custody of my daughter. I was spending a lot of time in nature because I find that to be a place that opens me up. I was teaching my kids about the ways to quiet your soul and hear your surroundings exist in the world.
Right.
But I didn't just go walking with them. I went walking alone too.
Okay.
And one day, I'm walking through the forest, and it was a very meditative. Wow.
Meditative.
It was like meditating, man.
It was like meditating.
Hey, man. It was like meditating, man. You know what I mean, man?
Mm.
You know what I mean, man? One glass eye and everything, man. You know what I mean, man?
No, I
No.
don't. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's okay. Sammy Davis, one glass eye.
Okay.
I was walking, and it was one of those days where the lights through the trees was like watching the play of stained glass on the ground. That as the trees moved, the glints of green and just life were fulfilling. It was that realization that there's no cathedral or mosque or temple that amounts to the spirituality of the grand temples of the world: oceans, mountains, forests. A bird was flying ahead of me on the path. It was like, if you know anything about tree shyness, there was a gap down the middle of the path where the light was perfect. And then with the greens on either side. And the bird flew back and forth. And in my memory, it's always a goldfinch. I don't know. Whether it was a golden finch, I don't know. There are different finches in the world. Finch, small bird.
Okay.
I mentioned crazy. So I, of course, decide, let me see if this bird will land on my hand. Because I felt moved to do so.
Okay.
That's not normal. That's not...
No, I think everybody's tried to
But it
touch
did.
a bird.
No, I didn't touch the bird. The bird
Oh.
landed on my hand.
That's
Like, I
slightly
held up my
different, yeah.
hand.
That's slightly
I
different.
want to say I held it up both sides, and the bird landed on my hand.
Mm-hmm.
In that moment, I felt overwhelmed, like I'd known things. People would call this a spiritual moment, an awakening, an epiphany. It was not. It's like all of a sudden you knew something.
What did you know?
Imagine having children,
Mm-hmm.
and as they grow, they leave and they go out into the world and they go to all of the different. They grow.
Mm-hmm.
They all change. They all become individuals. They all become who they are.
Mm-hmm.
They spread out all over the world. Now imagine an old man.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is the Judeo-Christian background. So in my head, imagining an old man is pretty rational. Even though I don't have a specific religious outlook, I'm formed by the things around me.
Mm-hmm.
If that man wanted to call all of his children home, one map wouldn't suit the purpose. Nobody's coming from the same place. Even if we take the 7.5 billion people on our planet, there's no two identical perspectives. No one map could get people home.
Mm-hmm.
To the party.
Right.
To the party. That I felt the overwhelming push to make that known, to bring the world into a better place, to promote compassion and love and support, and I felt called. I don't know what
Okay.
that means. I've checked it out ridiculously well with psychologists because I actually am a pretty intellectual guy. I actually don't buy into all of this mumbo jumbo. This wasn't that kind of thing. I didn't have a choice. I felt it.
Mm-hmm.
It moved me.
Mm-hmm.
I told it no. No. I have things I have to do. I'm raising a child.
Mm-hmm.
I have people I care about. I
Mhm.
have... Shoot, at that point, I was caring for 3 children before I had to come to terms with the fact that legally I could only fight for 1. And I spent 25 years fighting with that. Feeling like I was supposed to be doing something. Feeling like I was in opposition to this thing calling me to change things. Feeling like, okay, yeah, but what's the point? No one else is living like that.
Right.
I can't. So then you get to the point of, so now I'm 50. 49 really when this happened. I have used a variety of
Back up
psychoactive
off the mic a
drugs.
little
Huh?
bit. Back up off the mic a little bit.
Back up off the mic?
Yeah,
Oh,
just a little
cool.
bit.
I can.
Just a little bit.
That's easy. I can back up off the mic. I've used a variety of psychoactive drugs kind of in the shamanistic path. This had been eating at me for 25 years, and all I wanted more than anything else was to not feel this fight inside me. This need to change the world, this belief that the current means is unsustainable, this feeling that I can't play this broken game anymore. So I'm done, and I'm going to go fight. And I'm not going to lie to people or claim there weren't, non-prescription pharmaceuticals involved. Excuse me. Did not mean to burp in your ear there. Sorry about that. So I'm angry. I'm tired. I'm at my end. I'm falling apart. For those of you that don't know, in 2021, I went into some deep therapy because all of this had me very overwhelmed. That I could watch people in offices believe in a toxicity and a need for money beyond all else, knowing that in the present day, with automation and with the realities of a workforce primarily doing make work, things were going to turn, but everybody was going to make decisions based on their own greed. And I don't want to go fight the world. I don't. But I've believed for a very long time that it's a question of, do you let the world change you or do you change the world? Anyways. So I went to the mirror. That's kind of the in thing to do on psychoactives. You're never supposed to go look in the mirror because then God will see you and, big fights and you get into a bad spot and that's how you get bad trips. That's how you get bad trips, kids.
Never heard that before.
That looking into the mirror, you can lose yourself.
Okay.
That it can take you to a place where it's, overwhelming.
Yeah.
I went in there and 2 minutes later walked out laughing my butt off.
Why?
Because
What's so funny?
the idea that I had been fighting with the universe is about the most egotistical thing I could possibly think. What time would the universe have to fight with me? What makes me so important that the universe is going to fight
Right.
with me?
Right.
That I walked away laughing knowing I'd been getting ready for this for 25 years. And that the moment was here. And that I had to do something. That the 25 years of fighting, the only thing I'd been fighting with was myself. That all the way down, it's you you're fighting with. The piece that holds you back is you, your perspective. But that it's time, and you have to do something. Because you look around and it's not sustainable. I walked around for months after that going, oh my God, if Greta Thunberg, her name's not Thunderberg.
Thunderberg.
No, it's
I don't know what it is. Thunberg, I think. Thunberg, maybe.
Thunberg.
I don't know how to
Greta,
pronounce it.
I promise I am in
it's
no way
European.
trying to mispronounce
I'm
your name.
sorry, I don't.
Scandinavian even. Scandinavian.
Scandinavian? That's where they got the idea from the Who's from.
That if we were at the
Scandinavians.
point where not only are our children afraid to exist in our world, like I look around and children are hurting themselves and full of anxiety and some of them are even strong enough they're standing up and going, we can't do this anymore. That this doesn't work. How could I sit by? So I wrote things like, so if you're called to greatness and you choose to ignore it, you will spend the rest of your life wondering, haunted. I've spent 25 years haunted, fighting with a memory of being touched by something deeper, feeling connected. I go back and forth between feeling connected with the world and feeling totally ostracized. I deal with huge social anxiety. That's why it's been so hard. Yay, Christmas, we're going to put out a ton of stuff. And then, you know what, you get a few movies. Or you get a few of something. I'm here because I have to be. I'm here because something has to give. I can't be in a world where I buy and sell things anymore. If I have things, I want to share them with people. I want to make their lives better. I'm tired of taking. I'm tired of that being the primary metric of humanity is how much can you take? That's not sustainable. Our most important people are considered important because they've figured out how best to bamboozle the other members of their species. I look out at the world and I see a political landscape that's reminiscent of my 6th grade middle school playground. There's a bully. There's a kid that thinks just because his parents were rich, you know what, people should listen to him. You know, there's everybody playing childish games. I'm looking at every country as you assess. But anyways, I'm here because I think somebody has to have a voice. I don't mean I have to have a voice. I mean we have to have a voice. I'm not here to just tell other people's stories. I want to hear other people's stories. I believe that we all are dealing with the same struggle and trying to hide it. And the fact that we're trying to hide it is making it worse. Instead of people realizing they're not alone, they feel so alone. Our children feel so alone. What if instead of a corporate voice globally, which is what we have now, there's a variety of, I mean, you can define what your outlook is or who you prefer and what slant is your slant and who you listen to. The reality is, though, slants. All of it. That you're picking between bad sources. How do we create a world where we talk to each other? How do I make it so...
That's fairly easy. Talk to each other. That's pretty... Problem solved.
We're here. And we're talking. Now, don't get me wrong. We love music. We love art. There are so many pieces that make us amazing as humanity. It's the diversity that is, oh my God, fills me with joy. Instead of fighting over subjective facts, I'm not even going to go there. But the reality is, what if after 586B, there's a studio something else? Some guy in his basement. And then another guy in his basement. Or maybe in their local church. And they're actually putting out a discussion about how real we are. They're looking for the people. Right now, if you're an active creator, you're separate. We don't have groups coming together, communities.
I'll be honest, sometimes it's hard for me to see a world of creators. Because if everyone's creating, who has time to listen? To some extent. I always wonder that.
Okay, so let's say as opposed to right now where the studio's at, where Matt's trying to figure out how many hours he can be on the air constantly and then falling down and not being on enough on the theory that you need to fill hours. You want it to feel more. The vision is almost like radio station, TV channel. The ability to hopefully eventually fill it with stuff that isn't just you and me.
Right.
Because you're right. If we're filling every minute, how do we even have time to edit? Wink, wink.
Not even just edit. Just how do we
have
time to listen?
Right,
you know.
And once you get,
like,
I mean,
how do you have time to?
Hey,
check out my song. I'm too busy making my own songs. I really can't listen to your song. I'm sorry.
But,
like,
now here's what's crazy.
You know.
And this is something we're gonna do a little of. I'm not anti-Spotify. I'm not huge Spotify, but Spotify has a system set up where one of the things we're gonna be able to do is share music we find. Once it's listed on Spotify, you can add it to a Spotify podcast. And one of the things we'd like to do is put out some almost similar to a radio channel. Because then what happens with Spotify Premium, otherwise you're only going to get 30 seconds of a song. It's just reality. But that you can now bring in other creators you found to lift them. You don't just have to play Kanye and Drake. You can go, man, I found this guy. And then one of the big things we want to do is Studio 586 be live. If you're out there and you're a musician or an artist and you're thinking, wow, you know what, I'd love to be a part of that. I would like to come in and just make music. Not like, oh my God, I have to have a song today. But an active, open, creative platform. Now imagine if that grows. Not we grow. Not just we. There's a reason why I want the studio set up as a nonprofit. I want it set up as a nonprofit because I think there are a million voices out there we're not hearing. I traveled the country. And what I found, we all wanted the same thing. And none of us trusted the people in charge. None of us. None of us. That we want our families to be safe. We want our kids to have a better life.
Yeah.
For the first time in a long time, our kids are going to have a worse life. Statistically
Maybe.
speaking.
Maybe.
No,
I'm not sure.
I'm talking about financially where we're at
not
and
sure.
what statistically they're predicting and what happened to the last generation. I talk in I read it or I don't talk.
Right. I get that, but I'm saying I don't think that necessitates.
Maybe not for your
I don't think
generation.
that necessitates that the next generation is going to have a worse off life just because they don't have as much money or they don't have as much resources.
Well, no, I don't think it's a money thing.
Like, I'm not sure that, because I've always believed that how much money you have is kind of irrelevant. It's all about the mind state that you have and the how you choose to take care of yourself and how you choose to take care of other people, and all of that. I think to some extent I don't know what the future holds. I don't know. I don't really I don't know what the future holds.
I mean, I happen to know a 30-year-old
Mhm.
that's listening closely, maybe. The question is, so the generation after me isn't you.
Mhm.
I mean, I've got a daughter that's,
Mhm.
let's call her 19. Is that appropriate? Echo, are you 19? Echo is not 19, she's 30.
Mhm.
So, I think in a world where we no longer, so previously to my generation,
Mhm.
you could count on companies standing by their employees and employees standing by their companies.
Mhm.
It has gotten to the point where you have to jump ship regularly and care only about yourself, and the companies don't care about you.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know if that means it's harder. It seems that way to me, but unfortunately, I got off the comments and went back one. Because I wanted to hear what Echo Hayes had to say. Well, the interesting thing for me is, I think there's been a huge change. The question is whether we pick up the slack. So I don't think corporate America is, actually the oligarchs in general. I hate to just, I think of these as symptoms of what we're going through, of a bad metric.
Mhm.
That in the world of counting our success based solely on money, that's crumbling. It has to. Because as automation continues based on the Industrial Revolution, there's going to be a lot of people with no job.
Mhm.
That other countries are already moving to 3 and 4 day work weeks. Sorry, 3 sounded really great. It's not real. 4.
4-day, 3-day work week sounds awesome.
There are places
if
that do
you-
3/12.
Except for if you need the money, because then it sounds terrible.
Well, okay, and that's the hard part. There was a thing that came out just the other day. So Kroger's employees 14% of Kroger's employees, and I forget, it was over 100,000 people they have working for them. I forget the number. Over 14% have suffered through some kind of homelessness in the last year.
Mm.
That's not a livable wage.
Right.
I mean, it's just not. Now, the problem is it's still based on wages, I think. I don't know. I don't have an answer.
I feel like that stat could be that they got a job at that place after they were homeless.
That wasn't the
like,
point.
is it?
It was asking existing
Mhm.
employees. I mean, okay, so a percentage is that. I know people that work
Mhm.
at fast food places that are homeless.
Yeah.
So do you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Just trying to put all of their money in a car so it will keep going so they can get to the job that pays to keep fixing the car.
Right.
So they sort of have somewhere to live.
Right. That's a good point.
That something's got to give.
Mm.
And so I'm here.
Mhm.
I'm not claiming I have all the answers. I don't think that. I think the first problem is if you think you have the answers, you're already lost. Those who seek are not lost.
Mm.
But if we continue to crush alternate perspectives,
Mhm.
we may lose the answers we need.
Yeah.
Because I can't think like a dead Ugandan. So if there's a mass genocide and you kill off this many people,
Mhm.
I lose those ways of thinking.
Yeah.
That our outlook of crushing the opposition till everybody agrees
Mhm.
is anti-progression. It doesn't. It's like the idea of not taking into account facts versus, and using logic and. Okay, I've really gotten off the beaten path. Why are we here?
Mm.
I'm here because I want to change the world. I'm here because if I don't do something, it's going to eat at me. I'm here because I see a problem.
Mhm.
And if I sit by, how am I living up to Greta? You know what? To some
That's
extent, if a 12, 14-year-old can get up in front of the UN and tell them to screw off,
Mm.
how can I not stand up and go, yeah, there's a problem? Why can't we all stand up and say there's a problem? Here's
I don't
the
know.
which brings us back to why we're here. A voice from inside.
Mm.
More voices from inside. More little studios putting out content. Building a network that's actually communicating across the globe,
Mhm.
past the oligarchies, and going, we're done with this. This can't keep happening this way. It can't.
Mm.
I mean, you look around the world, it's a friggin' mess. And I'm not talking about the pandemic even. The pandemic's been great, don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
It's not the only thing going on, and more than one,
Right.
there's lots of major stuff going on.
Yeah. There's lots of moving parts.
But what if we all talked? I'm telling you, all we all want is a better life for our families.
Yes.
How are we buying into this methodology, this way of, and how do you change it? I don't know. I don't have an
Change
answer.
it. I don't know. I don't know either. I don't really spend much time thinking about how to change the world. I kind of think about how to help people that I know.
Well, and I understand
kinda-
that.
I limit myself to how I can help my circle, and once I can get past that, that'll be dope.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm trying to do.
Mhm.
I'm just trying to expand the circle.
I get that.
I can't change the world alone. For those of you that think, when I go, I got to change the world, you can't change the world, you got to change yourself, yada, yada. Yeah. But you have to stand up.
Mm.
You have no right to complain if you're not in the arena.
Mhm.
That if you're not actively trying to do something. I can't believe in going back to the other options.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'm broken. I can see the holes in it all, and it feels empty.
What feels empty?
Trying to go back to anything else. That if I walk away, it's because I've failed. That I can't walk away. Because the failure isn't the whether or not you get it right, whether or not you figure it all out. It's whether or not you walk away. There's a book out there. We'll do some stuff where we talk about my book along the way, I'm sure. Really, it all boils down to Namastained. The deep scars and wounds on my soul sees the deep scars and wounds on your soul. And realizes the struggle is universal. And we hide that from each other. I see everybody struggling. Top to bottom. Doesn't matter how much money you got. Doesn't matter how pretty you are. I see everybody struggling internally. But we don't talk about it. We're not honest.
I think we talk about it a lot more now.
I think it's getting better.
I think we talk about it a lot more now.
I know that when it switched from my back was broken to my head was broken, the support quickly
dried up. Yep, that's how it goes. I mean, when it's not a physical pain that you're going through, and it's more of a mental pain, like, people seem to act different. When people passed away, I noticed that people came to me and were like, I'm so sorry for your loss, blah, 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 blah. If there's anything you need, come talk to me. But when I felt depressed and I didn't have a reason, it seemed like no one could help me. I went to the hospital because I couldn't find help in the outside world. Everything felt like it was too much. Everything felt like all I wanted to do at that time was go to sleep. I just wanted to go to sleep, be done with it. I
slept a lot.
Like, I slept a lot. I slept a lot.
I still sleep a lot.
Like, I had been in my head a lot as a kid. I had gone through a lot of bouts of depression that I didn't know were bouts of depression. And when COVID hit, like, that time was rough, but I got through it. Then, a couple months later, I moved back to Columbus, and it got even worse. And it just all compiled down on me, and I felt like it felt like a storm of some sort, and I just couldn't see anything but I need to go to sleep. I need rest.
My lights were literally dim on the world. Like, it was darker.
Seriously.
The world was darker.
When I got out of the hospital, it
Still
felt
is
like
occasionally.
when I got out of the hospital, it felt like the world was a bit brighter. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. But I think it's mostly because I took a week off of the world, and I got away from everything, and I had time to think about my life and evaluate whether or not I needed to be on meds and what type of mental situation I got going on.
You took a week where you were a priority.
Right.
And I think that's huge.
And I had to.
Well, and so for me, one of the other things was realizing I wasn't alone.
Right.
Now I was around people from every walk of life going, hey, we're going through this. Whoa.
Yeah.
And then you realize you want to talk about a pandemic in this country. Go look at who's on meds for what. Now add in everybody that's self-medicating with something.
Right.
Something's wrong.
Right.
I mean, how many kids do we see on meds? Now, I will say that I think one of the contributing factors in the last 2 years has been that there's never been, globally, our ability to deal with this situation has been so this way, that way, the other way, people fight. There's never been, hey, we're humans, we're banding together to get out through this. The aliens show up, we're splitting, and we're
It's-
taking each other out. You can tell.
To be honest, it's crazy. It's kind of crazy to me how many times I went up to people and I would ask them, I would talk to them about their experience, and they would tell me, I've been in and out of hospitals my whole life. I've been in and out of jail my whole life. I've been in and out of trouble my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on meds my whole life. Like, and when I hear that, I'm like, I'm gonna have to deal with this for the rest of my life, huh?
Well, not only
Like-
I think everybody is. I think the mistake is we're treating it like it's a few people feeling like they don't fit into the world.
Right.
When we all feel to some extent like we don't fit into the world, like there's no real place for us to exist as ourselves. We better have a mask on, you know what? We better hide how we're feeling inside when meanwhile we're all going through it.
Well, when you gaslight yourself, you end up hurting the people around you. Because I had this conversation with someone who was in the hospital with me, and she was talking about how her kids, she was thinking about her kids constantly, and how she feels bad because she's here and she can't be with them and stuff like that. And I was like, you don't understand. This is better for your kids than anything you could do for them right now. Because you're taking the time to ask for help. And that's very important because they're going to need to know how to do that.
And I agree. I will say this. But yeah, that eats at you.
Right.
When
No,
you're-
it doesn't limit how much it's going to hurt. It's not going to stop the fact that you're still going to feel bad about it. But you have to constantly remind yourself that if I'm not good, how am I supposed to help them?
Right.
How am I supposed to help make them good? How am I supposed to turn to them and say, you need to ask for help, even though I was too prideful to ask for help myself?
Right.
It's a matter of
It brings
you
me-
need to be the example that you set for your...
It brings me back to
for other
communication
people.
over and over again, though.
Definitely.
That if we're hiding the things we're going through, our children will just have to go through them again.
Right.
You know, if we're...
And they'll either see what you did and make a better decision, or they'll see what you did and think that that's the right decision. And either way, they're going to be alone in that situation because they're not going to know what they're doing.
Well,
Because to some extent they don't have the benefit of seeing someone else make the right decision.
Well, I've always argued that no matter the passage you sail, so in other words, in life, you're a boat, yada yada.
Right.
No matter the passage you sail, the reality is that you're an explorer.
Mm.
As much as others have traversed these seas before,
Mm-hmm.
this is your first time at the helm, no matter who you are.
Right.
That
I get
we
that.
don't give
I
enough
get
credit
that.
for. See, we know that.
I get
But
that.
we don't talk about what it feels like going through it. So then the person may not even they may not even know they're going through something someone else has.
Right.
Communication,
Right.
the people
Right.
from the studio
Right.
or studios to communicate in a way you're not alone. I'm not alone. We're connected.
Mm.
Our diversity is what makes us amazing. The ability to have that many people look at problems and have different ways of looking at them would be monumental, and the world would change.
Mm.
We're missing ideas from people we never educated, so guess what? They could never express them.
Mm.
That it seems natural to me that education should be free, not because of, oh, we want to help everybody to give away education. Screw that greed. Number one reason to give education to every human being on earth is greed. We want the best possible ideas, and some of them are not getting there. You know, the reason to get along is greed. You're going to have people that know things you don't know, and that's more valuable. Gee, glad to see people are figuring out diversity. Can we now actually
I think
apply
to
it?
some extent, humans have a hard time with figuring out anything that doesn't serve themselves. And I think when you realize,
Is that a decision?
I'm not sure. I think when you realize that anything you can do for another person at the end of the day is going to help yourself. I think when you realize that, you are much more okay with the idea of helping other people, and you're much more okay with the idea of not being so self-minded, I guess. Like, I feel better when I talk to someone and they're going through something and they feel just a little bit better because they talk to me.
Yeah,
I
right.
feel good. I feel good about that. And
Yeah.
I understand that me talking to this person and trying to help them feel better at its core is partially a selfish thought. Everything, when you get down to it, is a selfish thought. It's a matter of
Well-
how much you thought about other people that makes it better or worse.
Well, and my thought is, so all of my thoughts on why to be good to people are about selfish thoughts. Why should you be good to people? So I can sleep better at night.
Right.
As simple as that.
Right.
Right? You know what? I don't have to question
Right.
my motivations. I do anyways. I promise. Anybody out there thinking Matt doesn't question his motivation all day long? Trust me, I get lost in my head.
It's a thing.
24/7.
It's definitely a thing. Getting lost like that, it's a thing.
I think that's why I'm suggesting the idea that some of the things that we fight over, I think, are valuable for selfish reasons. Education, healthcare. We have the ability to create a world where people's primary concern is thinking, finding answers, putting real effort into it. And the first step in doing that is people not living on a shoestring, trying to constantly figure out how to survive. You know, this is the step past, okay, we made it a community in a village. Now we got to make it a community in a village. We like have gone to the other extreme. I feel best when I connect with people, honestly.
Me too.
So for selfish reasons, why not? Living compassionately and in the moment means you're actually living.
Right.
You know, I spend the majority of my time not living, trying to figure out something or some way or some other thing, as opposed to being alive. What was the one? Shoot. Attachments. Oh, I forget now.
Dang it.
Fantasizing, catastrophizing, attachments, and something else. But the reality is that most of our life ends up pulled around by I'm worried about this, and could this happen, and how do I deal with that, and what if I lost my house, or what if, so that there's no, as opposed to us all agreeing we want to apply our thought process on bigger problems, the majority of us are running around still dealing with the day-to-day of how do I survive.
To some extent, I try to remind myself of. I start asking myself questions when I'm asking myself questions. So when I'm asking myself, what's gonna happen in the next 5 years?
Okay.
I immediately ask myself, or at least I try to remember to, as soon as I can. I ask myself, do I know what's gonna happen in the next 5 years? Is there any way I will ever know what's gonna happen in the next 5 years? So why am I asking myself that question? So
It's written right here.
I try to remind myself that there are some things that I can't possibly know. There's some things that I can't possibly control. And if I keep thinking about the things that I can't possibly know and the things that I can't possibly control, I'm not going to do anything. And that's not good. So I need to keep moving. I need to keep working towards doing something. I need to keep persevering. I need to keep doing something. I need to get something done. That's what I need to do. Like, I think the less thought you have and the more you can minimize how much thought you put into things, with the exception of people. I think you shouldn't put much thought into action unless it involves people, I guess, is what I mean to say. Like, okay, if something feels good to do and it doesn't hurt anyone, especially not yourself, do it.
Well, no, I tend to get in a lot of trouble along those lines in the sense that societal norms to me are bullshit. That the reality is good and bad are defined by whether or not you cause harm.
Right.
And
Right.
whatever the current societal norms
Right.
are about whatever the current societal norms are.
Right.
They're not, because
Right.
if I can go back historically and go, wait a minute.
Marrying a 15-year-old is not all right because it's
No.
legal because it's legal in some countries.
I'm not saying
Is what I'm
okay,
saying. No. That's what
Right.
I'm saying. Is
Right.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
that
Because this societal
Right and
norm is
wrong
this
or
way
not-
in this certain place doesn't mean that it's right.
right and wrong is not defined by legalities, it's
Right.
defined by moralities.
Right.
And it's, you know what, fairly simple that no. So why are we here? We're here because we believe in it. We're not just here because Ross makes beautiful music. And trust me, Ross makes beautiful music. We're not just here because I spout off endlessly about spirituality and how to change the world. We're here to start a conversation about who we are and who everybody else is. Looking for the lines that divide us and the lines that we constantly are crossing accidentally. Where's the line? For me, it's where's the line? Am I crazy? Yeah. Okay, I'm crazy. I've had it checked multiple times and they disagree, but I think I am. They told me silly things about how they look forward to seeing me on TED Talks because I talk so much.
That's funny.
True story. That was, what's her name? They can't wait to see me on TED Talks, the therapist that you had.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to end today with a thought from Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
What's up to Spider-Man?
It's a different take on the traditional Uncle Ben died, ultimate power, ultimate responsibility. If you know that you could do things to help other people, you have a moral obligation to do those things. That's what's at stake here, not a choice. That if you feel like you see something going wrong, good or bad, legality or morality, the morality is you try to keep things from going wrong if you can see them. You can't just sit back and watch the building burn.
Right.
And so we're here. We can't sit back and watch the building burn. January 12th, 2022.
2022.
Where's the line?
It's 11222.
11222?
Yes.
11222?
11222. I can't wait for 111222.
222.
Right? That's 3 twos I
Something
said?
like that.
Yes.
Something.
November 11th. Wait, no, November 12th, 2022. That's the date I can't remember. I wait for. That yeah.
November 12th, 2022.
Yes.
So
that's the date.
111222.
It's a very important date in my mind.
What about 11/11/22?
it's in- What is it? 11
ends up
11
My
2022.
anniversary this year will add up to 11/11/22.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good to see you, folks.
Good to see you.